Tax-free shopping on the internet moved a step closer to becoming a thing of the past. The Senate easily passed a bill last night that requires out-of-state retailers to collect sales tax on anything bought online. Now the measure heads to the House. But as Hampton Pearson explains, passage there is not a sure thing.
Last year, internet sales topped $226 billion, up 16% from the previous year. And states lost an estimated $23 billion because they couldn't collect the taxes on out-of-state sales. That's according to a study done for the National Conference of State Legislatures.
The bill, as amended, is agreed to.
The Senate-passed bill gives states the power to require out-of-state retailers to collect sales taxes when they sell products over the internet, in catalogs, and through radio and TV ads. Big retailers like Walmart, Best Buy, and Target, with stores all over the country, already collect those internet sales taxes. But online retailers like Amazon and eBay don't have to collect them in states where they don't have offices or distribution centers. eBay opposes the bill. Amazon is on the side of states and their retail allies.
Retail is retail, a sale is a sale, and fair is fair.
Businesses with less than $1 million in gross sales would be exempt. That tax revenue would be sent to the state where the shopper lives. States must provide free computer software to help retailers calculate those sales taxes, and states must establish a single entity to receive the revenue to lessen the burden on retailers. Opponents are not convinced.
This isn't about simplification anymore. It's about the big box retailers placing their competitors, smaller competitors, at a disadvantage.
Getting the bill through the House will be an uphill battle. House Republicans are wary of anything that looks like a new tax. Critics also predict a tax collection nightmare for small businesses. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Hampton Pearson in Washington.
And back again to share their opposing views on the topic, David Quam, Director of Federal Relations for the National Governors Association, and Steve DelBianco, whom you just saw in the piece. He's Executive Director of NetChoice Coalition, an advocacy group that protects online commerce. Gentlemen, welcome back. We had you on a couple of weeks ago. You behaved so nicely, we thought we'd invite you back this time. David, let me begin with you, and I want to begin by, we solicited some comments on our website, and I want to read one of the comments from Taylor Shoemaker. As an online retailer, I'm extremely concerned about the amount of paperwork this new law may create for my business. Doing a sales tax return for one state is already a significant amount of work. Multiply that by 50, and it could mark the end of my business's expansion. Your group favors this, David. Answer that viewer.
You know, every governor wants to protect its retailers, wants to protect its small businesses, and this bill does that. Number one, you've got the small business exemption, so you have to be doing $1 million of online business before it even applies. Number two, there's simplifications in here, including the fact that the states are going to pay for and offer software under this bill to make it much easier to do that. No governor wants to impose a big burden, but we need to level the playing field and make it fair for everybody in that retail space.
Steve, let me turn to you about leveling the playing field. The last time that you were on, you were strongly opposed to this measure. How are you feeling about it today, especially now that the Senate has passed the measure?
Yeah, thank goodness it's over to the House. The Senate rammed this through without a hearing, without a markup, and only one amendment by the manager himself. But in the House, the Judiciary Committee is going to take a hard look at this. And they're already telling us they're going to be sure that they don't try to impose brand new audit risks, brand new burdens on all of America's businesses to collect tax, not just for 46 states, but the amendment that was passed last night added 550 Indian reservations who can demand tax payments and audits from every American business as well.
So are you predicting that this is dead on arrival in the House?
Never predict anything is dead on arrival, but they'll have to pass scrutiny. It'll have to run the gauntlet of a Judiciary Committee that held a hearing last year asking some very tough questions. David earlier talked about free software. Well, the legislation he favors requires each state to offer up a single piece of free software for just that state. But America's businesses will have to pay their own dollars to integrate that software into their ordering, fulfillment, and accounting systems.
Let me pick up with David on that, because that was one of the questions that I was going to go to. Even if the states do supply the software that ostensibly will make it easier for companies to comply, many states have different taxes that apply to different items. Food is exempted in some states, clothing in others, like in New Jersey. That's one thing. But the other thing is, who's going to be on the line when the software that the states supply me doesn't work? Who's going to help me with that, David?
You know, there's certified service providers out there now who have been working with 24 states, who've been working on this for 10 years. This is not a new concept. It's actually a proven concept. And so this is not pie in the sky. This is actually something that can be done today. I've seen a demonstration of actually free software that works with every single major platform out there that people are using to do e-commerce. I think I'd like Steve to read the bill more carefully. I'm actually very confident that both the House Judiciary Committee and the House itself, when they look at commerce, are going to want to move forward because inaction causes problems in the marketplace. Action actually creates fairness.
Educate me, if you wouldn't mind, David, on that question of what happens in those states like California, where different municipalities have different taxing rates, and in states like Virginia, where certain food items are excluded from sales tax, or in New Jersey, where most clothing is excluded from sales tax. How does that get accounted for?
States have the obligation to make sure they are providing good databases to those software companies and to the public. That software, this is a basic database problem. This is not complicated software. Any major piece of software out there is probably more complicated than what you're going to need to actually get this job done. And so the idea that this doesn't exist is just not true.
All right, Steve, let me ask you this.
Thanks.
As you know, and we said in the package, that eBay is trying to raise the level of the small businesses that are exempt from just 1 million in sales to maybe hike it up to 10 million. Would that make you feel any better about this measure, knowing that small businesses would be better protected?
No, Susie, think about it. 1 million of gross retail is really just a 1 or 2 person company. I was on Capitol Hill today visiting House offices with catalog companies doing $20 and $30 million a year in sales with a couple of hundred employees. They're the ones who were squeezed in this trap between, say, Walmart, Target, and Amazon, trying to squeeze down on their competitors, who will never be able to afford integrating these systems. David said it's been proven. All that's been proven is that it's phenomenally expensive to take free software and glue it into all the different places in my process, on my information systems, and make it actually work, and to answer customer questions. And how about that incredible audit risk? 46 states and 550 Indian tribes can all punch a button and generate a demand letter requiring you to be audited for taxes maybe that you should have collected and didn't know you needed to.
All right, David, we have to leave it there. And Steve, we appreciate your being with us. I have a feeling we're going to have both of you back in the future as this legislation moves along.
Happy to come back.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.